Hey everybody, I'm Shane Ireland.
I'm Andy Wyke.
I'm Truett Smith.
I'm Alan Britt.
Welcome to the first mystery review of 2024. You might notice something a little different. We're all sitting together for the first time in 4 years, 3 years.
4 years, yeah.
A long time. As opposed to the old video studio, which was pretty cramped, this feels like a reasonable amount of space for 4 individuals to hotbox. So today we're starting off the year strong with our own customer service supervisor, Mr. Bruce Kaufman. Bruce is our Inquisitor today. I think it's his first time in the Inquisitor chair.
It is. It took him a while.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
And was he like gun shy, or did he not know what he was going to do?
I think he was a little gun shy.
Oh, okay.
He hadn't earned it yet.
That's better.
He deserves.
Now he deserves
Now
it.
he deserves it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And he's given us something we believe has Latakia in it.
Yes.
Seems to definitely have some Latakia in it.
A little on the lighter side.
Yeah.
Honestly, a pretty decent blend for mid-January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good so far.
Yeah, I've been smoking more English blends lately.
I don't know if this is an indication of like the type of Latakia or like how much is in here, but the first thing I noticed, like right after I lit up, was how woody it was compared to like smoky.
Yeah, I don't get. It's more of a dry, smoke. A little bit of that earthiness.
I'm not getting much of the fruitiness so far.
Yeah, exactly. More incense-like.
Maybe it's more like rustic.
Rustic, okay.
A more rustic English blend.
And dry, as in I'm not getting a lot of sweetness.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say. So definitely not getting a lot of sweetness, but the retrohale just now, I swear to God, I caught like some cinnamon or something, and it reminded me of horchata, not
Really?
like cinnamon toast crunch. Yeah, like this
Okay.
like grainy,
Interesting.
starchy kind of.
I love me some more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, like tiny little sip and exhale through the nose, and I got like a little blast of like that kind of vibe. Like
I get
rice
some
pudding,
clovey, cinnamony.
Yep, I could see that.
Yeah, there's some like baking spices, not like pepper spice going on. Cut though, what do manufacturer?
I mentioned this briefly before we started filming, but I'm kind of stumped on the cut, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking C&D when I saw it, like just looking at the bag, like before I even packed the bowl. But I'm not so sure. Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah, there's a lot of curly bits in here. It's not exactly an even cut.
It's definitely not C&D, but it's also not definitely C&D.
Kind of got the longer springy sort of strands.
Yeah, like
There's also a lot of different color of leaf in here.
And some very bright leaf and some
Yeah.
obviously very dark leaf.
When I saw it, I think one of the first things that came to my mind was, I don't know if this is right, but I'm just gonna call it.
We often say wrong things on here.
Because of the leaf and how it performs when you like touch it, right? And these longer strands, I think this reminds me of some of the Dunhill/Peterson blends.
Okay.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, and there's something about...
No, totally. Yeah, sorry. I'm just kind of like, wait, why didn't I think of that before? No,
It does.
It definitely does.
It even has like... I honestly have no idea, but for the longest time, and it might still be the case, 965 specifically listed brown Cavendish as a component
interesting.
and not black Cavendish.
Yeah.
And there's something about this, and I don't know if that's what it is, but it gives me nearly, not Lakeland, but nearly like a soapy vibe. Like it's not strong, it's not super perfumey, like it's more incense-like than anything else, but the feel on the palate, and it just gives me like a hint of that like perfumey, soapy vibe without the specific like lilac and rose and lavender, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is giving very strong early morning pipe or 965 vibes. Like
That's kind of what I'm saying.
definitely not nightcap.
It's too light for that.
What's the other part, I guess?
Nightcap has Perique, right?
Yeah, nightcap has
I'm not
Perique.
really tasting.
Much darker Virginias, stronger overall. This kind of reminds me of aperitif, which isn't a thing anymore.
Right. Which, not to say Bruce didn't pull something out of his cellar.
I also
fair.
don't think this tastes very old.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I have some, I think early morning pipe, but maybe it's 965 that's like at least 5 years old, and it is not that.
In the last couple of years, I've smoked several tins of the Dunhill stuff that were from like 05, 06, 07, and they're a lot fruitier. Like the bouquet in the tin note and in the smoke is a lot more.
Yeah, this comes off very fresh.
I remember 965 and EMP being a little bit sweeter than this, though. Like, this is almost like, to me, as dry as like Sassani. Like Balkan Sassani. Like really peppery, woody, incense but not a lot of sweetness.
I know what you mean, but the times I've gone back and smoked it and been like, oh, I remember this being this way, I've always been like, oh no, this isn't as sweet as I remember, it, or this isn't as something that I remember it. So I know what you mean, but like this is definitely on par with other experiences. Those tobaccos.
Go ahead.
I believe it was our December review.
With Red Rappery?
Yes, but we had mentioned 965. I went back and smoked 965, an older 5-6-year-old tin, and it didn't seem near as dry as this.
Oh, interesting.
Personally.
Well, that's interesting.
5-6 years though will
that's true.
change a
you're
lot.
gonna get a lot
But you would think more sweetness with the time. Honestly, like usually, even if it's not sugary sweetness.
Yeah, but
like,
that's what Alan's saying too. Is
it wasn't
as dry as this.
965 is much sweeter.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm tracking now. So on the early morning, so I think we all can agree it's not nightcap.
Yeah.
And
I'm leaning early morning pipe.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was just going to say, early morning pipe is the Dunhill / Peterson English mixture that I've smoked the most of, and I lean towards early morning pipe, skiff mixture, like slightly lighter on the Latakia, slightly heavier on the Orientals. Maybe I'm crazy. Just doesn't give me hardcore Oriental vibes.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm not getting enough mustiness or the earthy flavors. They're there a little bit for sure.
I only have one open nostril this morning, so I can't really tell much of anything in terms of nuance. But I believe you.
This doesn't feel super familiar to me, is what I was going to get at. And to be honest, out of all of those, 965 is what I've smoked the least. Because I was smoking early morning and Durbar more than any of the other ones.
So I'll be honest too, and I need to do this, or surprised I haven't done this. Like, it's very hard to distinguish early morning pipe from 965 for me. Like, I've never smoked them back to back or side by side, but
they fill the same space.
They fill the same space, yeah. So I don't think, if this is one of those two, I don't think I could really firmly say, oh, it's EMP because of this reason versus it's 965 for this reason.
I find this also like ridiculously creamy. Like, I don't know if anybody else is getting that, but like
to the point where I almost want to say there's black cab in it.
Yeah, like it's really, really creamy. And again, I don't remember that. I remember early morning pipe as being a bit more piquant. Like the high dose Orientals.
See, I was just gonna say that this is kind of like spicier or whatever, and not as creamy or smooth.
I think I'm with Truett on this one, honestly, though, because like there's a lot of English blends. I'm thinking particularly like things that from the Pease portfolio or from the Drucker portfolio, the ones that don't have Perique. Like a lot of those, like there's this big creamy mouthfeel, like tons of body, tons of
usually
like,
it's more Latakia or more Cavendish.
Yeah, exactly. Like with this, I just feel like it's a little bit more rustic. Like, as you said, like there's something about it that's, I don't know, like it makes me want to like smoke this like around like a campfire or something, or like it
feels outdoorsy.
It does feel outdoorsy, yeah.
This also feels like an archetypical English blend. Like in my head, when I say, oh yeah, an English blend, that's what it's like. This is what I think of.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Kind of thing.
And see, for me, this is like, I feel like this is a little strange because what I'm getting from it, experience-wise, is a relatively mild blend that is relatively full-flavored. Like, I'm not getting a ton of strength.
Yeah.
I think body, mouthfeel, whatever, is also on the, like, medium to mild side.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's pretty flavorful and pretty complex.
I also will say that maybe some of the quote-unquote spice piquantness that I'm getting is, I do notice my palate's like a bit sensitive this morning, and so could be just like the heat of the smoke is hitting my palate in a way that comes across as like piquant.
Oh, I see.
And like I smoked a lot this week, so my palate might be a little burnt out, so to speak.
Yeah, I did not have my palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a Toscano cigar smoked Amosado.
Yes.
Nice.
That for all of you guys watching at home, if you really want to set your day off right
There you go.
and prime your palate for anything you're going to smoke for the
Take
rest
an
of the day,
Antico or an Originale.
Yeah, or an
smoke
Extra Vecchio.
Smoke it Amazzato.
smoke it Amosado, and you're set.
I'm telling you guys. I'm glad people are jumping on the.
Yeah.
It's a absolutely perfect rotation for a pipe smoker to have a Toscano in the morning, a couple of pipes, and or a cigar throughout the day. Perfect.
Yeah, not to turn it into a Toscano advertisement, but you recently put me onto the Duocentos, and I've been smoking.
They're amazing.
Oh, yeah, those are
They're
really
amazing.
good.
Yeah, they're amazing. So I got a really weird, I can't tell if it was from Andy or from Alan, like in the side stream a moment ago before the Toscano thing came up. Straight up burley is what it smelled like.
Interesting.
And again, that could be the Orientals, but literally the whiff of tobacco that I got reminded me of like the way my grandfather's study used to smell. Like, and he straight up only smoked Prince Albert in half, you know? So it's like that kind of classic, like a little molasses, you know, dark, like air cured leaf kind of vibe. And I'm wondering if that's because there's brown Cavendish or burley, or maybe it's the Orientals, but
For relighting, before we went on the Toscano thing, that was probably for me when I relit. Deep, rich nuttiness. I mean, that sometimes you could associate with burley,
But also
yeah.
Oriental.
but also Orientals.
I'm like smelling it for sure.
I think we recently got duped on the Oriental versus burley train in a November.
Probably a lot of times.
Yeah, to say that we've recently been duped is like
That's
for
every
years.
single time.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
I can't recall
Except
what
for
it was,
you,
but it was
Andy.
the blend that we
No,
swore was a burley
mine are
blend and
flukes.
had no burley in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing a lot of leaf that reminds me of what I typically think Oriental leaf looks like, right?
Like that greenish stuff.
Yeah, that like slightly green tinged, sort of medium bright leaf. When I look at that, I see a little bit of chestnut leaf, like sort of medium chestnut. I see really dark leaf, which is I think obviously the Latakia, and then there's some really bright leaf in there as well. So I don't know, man. Like
what is this?
right.
Is it
Is that that?
Cab? Is it Latakia?
Is that the in between leaf? You're gonna burn it and smell it.
I don't think that's against the rules. That's not bad
No,
form,
no.
right?
No.
Use my handy pipe rest right there.
This is science.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be.
Oriental.
Yeah.
That's pretty musty.
Yeah.
Pretty orientally.
Yeah.
It is.
I believe you.
It's spicy and musty.
Burn one of those.
I was gonna be like,
Nah.
Here, give me one of those really dark pieces.
yeah. Let me just.
Is this gonna become a new new trend?
I've done it many
We're
times.
just gonna end
Yeah.
up with like like
Go ahead.
the whole like hands of like sage. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start smudging Low Country
Yeah.
with like bundles of brown Cavendish. That's almost certainly lat, right?
I'm so loud, dude.
So
It smells like dark fire to me, to be honest. But yeah,
It is on fire.
yeah, sure. It smells like it's burning. No, it actually does smell like dark fire to me. But that could be Latakia
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
just
I was gonna
because
say-
everybody keeps saying the word Toscano,
So not
My lizard
not,
brain is
not
like-
to like derail us or anything, but the bag note does smell super mesquite.
A little
Like
bit.
very dark fired.
and I keep getting burly smell.
But I don't know if
from
that's
this dude's side
yeah.
stream.
I don't know if that's Latakia that just presenting because they're both, fired in some way.
Yeah, sure.
Or
sure.
does this have dark fired? I don't think so. I'm not gonna go on that train. What are you guys smoking it out of?
Yeah, let's do
maybe,
that.
Maybe let's
do that.
jump to that. Alan?
Alan, you go first.
this is an acorn from Pete Prevost, a recently turned into an English pipe, and it's smoking great, and is one of my favorite looking pipes.
Nice. Yeah,
that
it's
pipe.
awesome. No, I do the same thing. I always start off with a non-English blend and then wait to see, it's not burning the best. Let me see how it takes English blends.
Yep.
That's smart.
I think that was the same for this
That's
pipe
what I
and
did
that
with this,
pipe.
yeah.
Yeah. This is a little Jody Davis Cardinal that I picked up years ago, and it's strange because the chamber is not that deep, but at the top it's
wider.
relatively wide, and it's also conical. So on paper, I was like, this is going to be a Virginia Creek pipe for me. And I smoked it for a long time, and I had some decent experiences, but nothing amazing. And one time when we were in Nashville, and I think it was Jody himself had like a jar of something old in English, and I was like, whatever. And I smoked it in here, and it was amazing, like crazy sweet notes, lots of complexity. So it's been an English pipe ever since.
That's really interesting. I'm smoking a Ben Apple from Andreas Binwick. Curiously, this has always been an English pipe. When I picked it up, I knew it was going to be an English pipe. I don't smoke a lot of English blends, but when I do, I prefer the Andreas Binwick.
I love the blast on that.
Yeah.
It's really nice, right?
Dope shape too.
So I don't know. I think it's really interesting that you guys like have like these pipes that you've thought was going to be one thing, and then they just sort of like kind of told you that they didn't want to be that thing, right?
It took me years to accept the fact that I couldn't bend a pipe to my will. You know what I mean? Like some things based on personal preference are just never going to work out for you, but that's usually like drastic shifts in size. You know what I mean? Something that's really huge or really tiny or whatever. But yeah, a lot of pipes that I'm like on paper, the measurements, everything about it, like this is really similar to other pipes that I own that are amazing Virginia pipes. And it took me a long time to like just, if I'm struggling, to just like give up and try some different tobaccos and see what sticks. And then finally the pipe is like, yo, that's what I want. It's like, okay.
Yeah, this is a brandy by Yaskonovitz, kind of his signature, one of his signature shapes. And I also think too, obviously an English blend will ghost a pipe or can ghost a pipe, whereas Virginias are not. Even English blends have Virginias in them, so it's not an issue. So I always try to start off with Virginias or something in that realm, and then if it doesn't work out, you can always switch to English. You can't do the opposite.
Yeah,
so
or it's harder to do the opposite.
It's harder to do the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like in the minority when it comes to ghosting. I kind of like it. Like I think it's really interesting. So like sometimes I will smoke like an English or a burley blend.
Just
in this pipe because there's that like hint of like charred like mesquite wood that comes through, and it just like changes the experience of the blend.
Yeah,
it's like a blended Scotch versus.
Like, it makes absolute and total sense, and I could never.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why.
Heresy.
I don't know why. Yeah.
Heresy.
And I just can't. It's the same reason that I personally don't do any like home blending or anything either, or like mixing blends, because I'm just like, my brain is like, no, like pure everything or whatever. Like it's silly. It doesn't make any sense. But I've had guys be like, oh, I made this mixture and it's really good. It's like however much 965 and however much Orlick or whatever. And I'll smoke it and I'll be like, yeah, it's pretty good. But like, I just don't have that itch myself personally.
For me, it's also just knowing I cannot do it better than
Jeremy
or whoever in Germany or whatever. Like, we've all had some really amazing blends, and it's like I could just smoke that, or I could make my own blend that's definitely not going to be as good as that, and also spend time doing it. And
I also don't really like when I'm cooking. I don't really like go all wild and do like fusion stuff or whatever. I literally am like, I have an idea of what this particular dish is supposed to be like, and I'm trying to get as close to the best version of that as possible. So definitely just like not very fun in general. Like I feel like I'm describing myself as being like way too
not a fun guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think of when I think of Shane. I'm just like, what a bore. Well, are we getting any closer to?
I was just going to ask if anybody flavor profile has changed at this point.
Mine has smoothed out a little bit more as I've gotten, I don't know, maybe halfway down the bowl. But nothing that's like, oh, actually, this reminds me of this other blend that we haven't mentioned yet. So I'm still in the Peterson / Dunhill 965 or EMP.
I do want to ask one question. Does this cut not feel coal housey to anyone else? Not at all.
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
Dude, I might regret this. I was straight up just about to be like, this is a Peace or a Druker's blend.
Really?
Yeah. Like flavor-wise, it hit me. And I was just like,
No.
I know. What's the Devil's one called? I was going to say Devil's Holiday.
Devil's Own.
Devil's Own. Yeah, like...
Wait, isn't that a movie too?
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I think it's a Harrison Ford Brad Pitt movie
It's a combo.
from like
Interesting.
95 or something.
You
Well,
think
no,
it's a very specific release from a specific year.
What lies
but-
beneath?
No, that was 2000s.
But
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I still don't think there's any Perique in this. I feel like there could be some dark fired, but I'm getting like there's something about the flavor profile that feels different to me now than all of the Dunhill stuff we mentioned earlier. I don't think I'm going to be able to make a super good guess unless I pull out my cell phone and like remind myself which blend is which.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say that I don't think this is Prince's. I'm 100% sure it's not Blair Gowrie. 100% sure it's not Loch Ness or Mary Monk or any of the more recent ones because a lot of those are cakes. But there's something about this that reminds me of the Druker's sort of vibe, like the flavor profile. I also feel like it's been a crazy long time since I've smoked this, but it kind of reminded me of London Mixture, which I'm pretty sure it's not, but London Mixture
That was one I was trying to think of. but I've never smoked
inspired Westminster. And there's something, I don't know, it's like that medium, there's so many like medium English blends that are all like super similar. Man, I don't know. I'm second guessing the European manufacturer.
Well, thanks a lot, Shane.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with it, but something in my mind is telling me Cole House, something about the cut and something on the flavor spectrum is screaming German to me. It's probably wrong historically. I've been wrong.
Well, that's the thing though. On the English blend side, I feel like it's super hard to tell where it came from unless you have a
That's
really.
Red Virginia.
Oh yeah, that smells great actually.
That's Red Virginia.
I'd wear that as a cologne.
Red.
Smells pretty good. No, what I was going to say though is like, so when you think about all the stuff that Cole House produces, a lot of those are classic blends. Black Mallory and Red Rappery and things like that. Even Dunhill's like the Peterson blends, EMP, Early Morning, whatever. It's impossible, I think, at a certain point not to see the influence of blends like that in like Greg Peace's early work and stuff like, because that's what he was stoked about back in the 70s and 80s or whatever, you know? Like I feel like so many of the American blending house Oriental and English mixtures are heavily influenced by European English mixtures, and that doesn't necessarily work the same way. Honestly, it works in the other direction for things like Burley's. You know, like the stuff they were making, the stuff they were making in Richmond and whatever, like Edgeworth and whatever, is like the benchmark Burley for everybody in the world.
Right.
The point is, a lot of the stuff coming out of Perth and out of Belfast and out of those kind of countries way back in the day informed the way that all of us think about English mixtures. So I can't tell based on flavor profile alone. Like it's usually the cut.
I mean, it's similar with pipe making too. Like the Danish started this certain aesthetic that then the Japanese kind of riffed on, and then the Americans looked at both the Danish and the Japanese and riffed on that. But you look at a modern American handmade pipe from some artisan, you'd be hard pressed to be like, is this actually Japanese?
Yeah.
Or was this made by an American? Because they're informed by the same thing. And it's that same idea. And it's very subtle nuances, or you just happen to know that maker's style.
So when I originally saw this, I thought like one of the Dunhill Peterson blends simply because of the cut. Looking a little bit closer here though, like you do have those very long zigzag springy strands that I associate with those blends, but then you also have...
not uniform.
It's not uniform. And so I think about
You got this kind of stuff.
C&D manufactured blends,
Yeah.
the way that like our Virginias are cut and processed. Like they have changed
Slightly different.
slightly different than they used to be, and like a lot of them do look like this fine. I think that paired with the fact that I literally just found Red Virginia, I think you're right. I think this is a C&D manufactured blend.
And to me, and I can't even articulate why, and pretty soon we just need to find out what it is because this could go on forever.
Yeah.
I can't articulate why, and this is going to sound insane. This does not taste like Jeremy to me. It tastes like Greg. And not like their flesh. Like, like their palates, you know, like I don't know why, but for some reason this is like ringing Greg P's vibes to me, or bells, and I can't really narrow it down too much further than that. I don't think.
But it's tricky because like Star of the East and Orient Express and stuff, they're modeled after those traditional English blends, like was coming out of Perth and Dublin and all of that stuff. So, which Greg is also blending from in certain areas from that perspective. So, I see what you're saying, but I feel like there's ways to talk against it or for it.
Absolutely,
either way, it's like impossible.
Like, and that's the thing is, in a situation like this, it like you can only logic so much. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like something way back here that I can't explain or pinpoint is just screaming peace to me.
I'm going to guess early morning pipe. And if it happens to be one of these peace blends or a Jeremy,
You're going to take the win?
No, I'm not going to take the win, but I would rather guess the original.
Because early morning is the father of all.
I mean, not exactly.
I know.
But that's like a compliment to Greg and or Jeremy of like, oh, they did a really good job like capturing that essence. So I don't disagree with you guys though on the Red Virginia note, on the cut note. I'm not confident.
I'm not either. But yeah, I'm going to say one of the Druckers blends, blended by Greg in the revival period. Anybody else?
I am going to join Team Truett on early morning pipe. I think it's European manufactured. Yeah, I don't have a really good reason, but I think it's European manufactured. It's screaming that to me, palette-wise, cut-wise, more than it is C&D produced.
Got it.
Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel so confused.
I do too.
Like I don't know.
This was a pretty strong
What's the
start
meaning
to
of
the
life?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, this was a pretty strong start to the year though. Yeah.
This is a good test.
it's just like I'm almost like the last fourth of the bowl, and it's funky. Like there's like a funky flavor there.
That's also, the more I get into it, the more I kind of I really want to believe that there's dark fired in this. I really do. I don't know, but
Let's just find
let's
out.
just find out. Like at this point, it's getting
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know that I have another guess other than like I do think this was probably made by Cornell and Deal in the last year.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying an unaged C&D blend.
Unaged C&D blend.
Or C&D manufactured
Yeah.
blend.
All right, you ready?
Let's find out.
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Bruce Kaufman, customer service at smokingpipes.com, and this month's mystery tobacco review is Stokeby's 1882 English blend. I wish them luck in guessing.
Eric Stokeby, 4th generation, 1882 Founders Blend, now with full-bodied burley.
Okay.
So the components: Virginia, Latakia, Burley, and Oriental. Okay. Honestly, I feel much better having missed the manufacturer by continuing to get the Burley.
Yeah.
I started to talk
That
about
was a good
dark
pull,
fired,
yeah.
but I'm telling you, as soon as I smelled the side stream from
Are there
this
Orientals
pipe-
in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's see here. Full-bodied smoke, traditional English mixtures, paying tribute to the Stokeby family, ribbon cut, comprised of Latakia, Oriental, Virginias, and full-bodied burley. I'm curious, I'm going to call Eric. What the hell is full-bodied burley? Is that just like really dark burleys, or is it possible that there's some like dark fired in here? I'm
Or
legit
it could
curious.
just be an adjective, like burly is
Full body.
full-bodied, so it's just saying like, oh, full-bodied
Maybe.
burly.
It's full body burly.
It's
not-
full-body burley.
Yeah, it's not full bodied.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
it says full body.
It says
Yeah,
full
yeah,
body.
full body
Yeah.
burley.
Yeah, I think it's just describing burley in general.
Yeah.
I do think that whatever the burley components in here, they're likely darker.
It'd be like saying now with smoky latakia.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, is it a smokier latakia?
Yeah, dark burley.
Probably dark burley.
I actually think that's what that chestnut leaf is.
Yeah.
Makes
yeah.
sense.
Is that okay? Well, yeah, I feel a little silly for
Second guessing the
second
country of
guessing the
manufacture.
country. It's made in Denmark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my original guess for something along the lines of
Peterson
the
downhill.
Peterson downhill stuff would have been a little bit closer, but you know what? I've had a great time.
Yeah.
And
Great
yeah.
blend.
Thanks so much, Bruce, for starting off
win 'em all.
2024 real strong.
This is a bit of a sleeper, though.
Oh, yeah.
This is a deep cut, and I'm glad Bruce picked it because it was not on my radar.
Not at all.
For sure.
This is a fantastic English.
It's really good.
And you know what? Like in closing, oh man, I should have. I wouldn't have guessed anyway because I didn't know there was burley in that blend. The first blend that I fell in love with, and I've told the story a bunch, that I smoked for years was a house blend from Racing in Laramie in San Diego, and it was a burley English. It was an English blend that instead of Virginia's, the base was burley, and it had Oriental and Latakia, and it's like this is super nostalgic for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For that
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really dig it. It's right up my alley for sure. All right, Bruce, you win this time.
Well done, Bruce. Well done.
Next time, all four of us will pick something, and you'll sit here by yourself and try.
So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next month.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.